How you doing? Got the cylinder off, Eric's 394. Base gasket was bad. Directly under the carburetor, the base gasket was bad. That's something quite unique, but it happens. This is what we do. Okay, those of you that are building a 394, this is a 395 cylinder. They're very, very similar. There's subtle differences, which you guys can look that up and see. I don't have another cylinder off to show you, and it would be a hard one to explain. But they're very similar. You do pretty much the same things to both. Fairly much. Let me tell you the numbers. I know you guys want to know. We started out the exhaust open at 104 with no gasket and no engine assembly silicone, just 2 bolts in the corner, put the degree wheel on, bam, way you go. Seen that done finally in person, how the degree down.
Yeah.
And it's really not hard, is it?
No. Just making sure you have everything set up and just double check everything, and you're all set.
Yeah. And so we got our numbers. Okay, so the exhaust opened at 104. 24 degrees later, the transfer's opened. That's pretty good, because when I hit my numbers, I'm going to have my transfers where I want them. And that's not by design. It just happened that way. I don't get as concerned with transfer opening as some people. I do not push that tight to the exhaust opening. I don't. I know some of you guys out there do, but you want a strong saw, give that a little time to get the exhaust out before the transfers open. I'm just warning you. Especially on these bigger saws, you want a little more time. The intake timing, this is what was really funny. You know I've got a hard, fast rule. I do not exceed 160 degrees total opening on my intakes on anything, unless I got reeds, then reeds control. I make my reeds work for me. But on regular saws like this, I've seen the most abysmal intake timing I've ever seen in anything in a modern saw. I had a total of 147 degrees total opening. That was it. And that's with no base gasket, so it was worse than that with the base gasket. Way worse. How'd the saw run, Eric, when it was running right?
It ran okay,
It was strong, wasn't it?
It was strong, yes. It was strong, but
cubic inches will make a brood out of anything, won't it, Eric?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it does.
So at 147, I looked at that and I decided to go about 155. That's what I want. I'm not pushing it. He's a logger. He needs a logging saw. He's not cutting cookies. He needs something bar up with a big bar. The reason you have these big saws for big bars, isn't it?
It's for big wood, yes.
That's what they're for. They're not for firewood and cutting cookies. So when we go that far on the intake, I'll tell you what we need. We need proper transfers. Let me show you stock transfers. See that? You can see right there and there where the piston rides and the size of the transfers. Okay, here's what we end up with. Okay, guys, 66 Magnum. This is what I do. C94, 395. This is it. You guys can analyze the skid marks that piston leaves and figure out this is intake side. Those of you that are porting can figure out what I did right there and how big that actually is. Okay, we taper that. See the very low part, which is right here where it comes in. Okay, there's how it is from the factory. And that inside here, let me get a pointer. I got special pointers for the job. Right in there, that actually is a shelf that goes in. That air has to work twice as hard to get in there. Plus, that primary transfer wasn't doing crap. It really wasn't. So, when we get done, we got air coming through them transfers. They had nice big transfers, and Let me get a light on that. Oh, I like cutting their frickin' hair in the mirror. You can about see them there, and that's about it. They were nice big. They're angled above the roof of the intake, which is this side. Okay, the intake. Yep, got my little fingers in the roof of the intake, which is the lower part, you see. This is upside down. We got our timing corrected on our intake, if I show the intake side. But most importantly, these little grooves right here help that air not attack that wall, but go straight down into the bottom of that cylinder. 372s that does that. Just about most of the modern saws I do this to. Now, there's some of them, there's exceptions that I don't, but the Steels I do it to. I do it to Huskies. We've tried it without them little finger ports there. I guess you call them on the intake there. You see them there on the roof. Here and here. I've took several different saws apart that I did not do that to. After I run them, pulled the cylinder, did that to them, and I'm going to tell you something, there is a big difference. I can't tell you what, don't go too far. I'll warn you that, don't do that. When you start seeing your ring, you better be stopping. You don't even want to see your ring if you can help it. Just keep it, when you're not new to porting, every time that you put that cylinder on and off, you deburr that bugger, okay? I do things by measurement as much as I possibly can. Get yourself a little rule or whatever that's accurate, and just kind of sneak up on this. I go right to the numbers generally, which we're doing with this one, because this is a common build. Now, if I get a saw that I haven't done before, I'm very, very careful. Okay, now I got to finish up the other transfer, and we are going to be putting this saw together. Now what we got is we are done with our work, and I'll show you where we're at. We've got that transfer done, that one done, intake. This is the bottom of the intake, the floor. Inside the intake. Exhaust. See how, it looks like the lower, but that's actually the upper, the cylinder's upside down, is more oval shaped. It makes that piston clear that center first and starts the exhaust out, and as the piston drifts down, it kind of blooms, it blossoms. Factory are more straight across. When you do that to one of these, you'll get a nicer running power saw, you quite honestly will. Okay, so now what we got to do, we got to prep the saw, get things cleaned up, get our motorcycle engine assembly silicone out, and start putting this together. And that's what we're doing right now. Okay, what we're doing now is we're mounting our intake to our cylinder. You know what's nice? These saws, that clamp goes up so you can get to it. You can't do that with the 372s because the clamp hits the cylinder, one of the fins. I'm telling you what I'm going to do on the very next one I do for me. I'm cutting that fin off so I can have my clamp in an upward position. That's the cold side of the saw, right above that intake. It's cold. I think I did a better job the other day, Eric, when it was on the saw. What do you think, buddy?
It's a lot harder. It is a lot harder.
Okay, number one, I want to turn that. I don't like where I got it started. Okay, I'm going to start this side first. I think I'm going to start this side first. Oh, Try to get that straight, folks. I'm trying to put the darn thing on crooked, Eric. You see that? You gotta keep me straight, man.
Oh, you're doing a good job.
Yeah, you'll know if you don't have that all the way on. This one's gonna fight me just a tiny bit. Okay, we got her all the way on. Now we're going to tighten that up. Eric, did you think that we're going to have a saw here for you or not? You know, it's funny. We started out with this saw. We told you yesterday's video. Had a carb problem, running out of fuel. So we did everything you do. You check your impulse line, your fuel line, fuel filter. Go into your carburetor. Check your needle height. Clean your carb, make sure everything's working properly, put it back together. Did the same thing. On this one here, what the problem was, just running out of gas, wasn't it, Eric?
Yeah.
Running out of gas. Well, start, run, idle, do everything, and then all of a sudden it just kind of creep right up, and you try to whack at them just a little bit, like there's no gas in the tank.
Yeah.
You can't have that, they don't run for nothing. So, took a can of carb cleaner or brake parts cleaner and sprayed. I was suspicious of that base gasket. We sprayed that brake parts cleaner directly on the bottom of the cylinder underneath the intake. That saw quit right now. Yep, and we pulled that apart, and that's what it was. Okay, we're going to get prepared, get ready to put this together, and we'll have a saw. Okay, we got the cylinder back on. Eric, we didn't even have to fight with that one.
Oh, yeah,
What happened? It slipped down there like it used to be there or something, didn't it?
Oh, it was very nice.
Yeah, that's amazing. This a low top. Some guys, I know Buck and Billy prefers low top, and I'm telling you, I did that 372 for me. That's over there is a low top. You know he's right. When you lean over them with your belly vise,
yes,
that's a lot nicer. You know what else I found out? That high top HD air filter, the low top goes just as long without cleaning as high top.
Yeah, it does.
And I couldn't believe it, because I would have thought that had been opposite, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you'd think, but it's not.
It's not like that, guys. It's not. So, you're going to see some low tops in our future. And away we go. Okay, so what we got to do now is we got to put our fuel line on the transfer. Okay, so first thing's fuel line. So we grab that little mother right there. And we get that on there. Kind of like that. You don't want no kinks. You push them on. When you take them fuel lines or transfer lines off, get your screwdriver right there and just shove it off. You try to pull that, it works like a Chinese handcuff. You ever seen Chinese handcuffs, Eric?
No. No.
Oh, they're the baddest things. Seriously, Chinese used to use them, still do. It's a tube that they make out of just like reeds, and when you collapse it, it gets bigger. Well, you put one finger in this way and one finger this way, and then they draw your hands apart. A person can't get them off your fingers.
Amazing.
You can't get them off yourself.
No.
You know, well, if you had to bad enough, you'd figure out how, but it's not easy. That's what a Chinese handcuff is.
Wow.
Yeah, I had the horrible mistake of really ticking one of my teachers off one time. I was just teasing, but she took it serious. And I think she way overreacted. I ended up with a Chinese handcuff. She did it as a joke. She was being malicious, I'll just tell you. And now I'm going to have to fish that. All we got left now is I got to put my throttle cable back on, put these bolts in, and we'll be doing this here, and we'll be right back. Okay, we did it. We have this bugger together. Think of that. Josh, you know that pipe that I had you build, Goofy? What do you think of that? That works on this saw. Yes, we already tried the chain brake cover. Works perfect. We love it. We love it. Guys, this is where all the fun begins. These builds are fun to begin with, but I'm going to warn you something. They're a little tedious sometimes, ain't they, Eric?
Oh, yeah.
But you sit there and you grind away. Literally, you just grind away. It's no big deal, okay? We're going to gas this up. We're going to give it just a little tune and a first fire here in just a minute. You excited, Eric?
I love it. I love it.
What'd you think first time seeing Portland in person? It's different than what you see on video, isn't it?
Absolutely, it is.
It's the same info, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the view, the perspective is hard to capture on video.
Yeah.
Or at least for me, it really is.
Yeah.
It's Sunday. I'm really glad you guys are here watching this. 394s are a special build. This is a 394 with a 395 top end. The cylinders, they share the same event, so let's just put it that way. They really do. This went together well. We got a couple bolts put in the intake boot there, and you know, in the carburetor, and we will be firing this mother up.
Choke.
We're gonna see if we can get her to pop. That's first heat cycle. That's warm. We're going to see how we make out with this. We got more to put together, guys. So far, so good, Eric. Let's see what happens, buddy. I'm going to pull that handle. We got that spring mount on the side. We got to do something with that. And we got a couple other things. That is a different sound, don't it, with that pipe?
Oh, yeah. It sure does.
Yeah, that's a different sound. So, we're going to see how this rolls out. Guys, it was really nice having you here with this little journey. Absolutely. And we're going to call it a day. Have a great Sunday, everybody out there. I wish you were here.
Take care, everybody.
Goodbye.